Hello, Pokemon trainers. Welcome to the King's Court. Okay, so usually, now really quick, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you're a returning viewer, hi, how you doing? This is what I like to call the Path to Power series. This is basically where I try to climb the online Pokemon Scarlet and Violet PGC ladder, especially for the last few months, actually. I've been using my favorite Pokemon of all time, Giratina, to basically try to climb like I said, the online ladder. And I, throughout the week, try to collect the best battles that I think are the most entertaining, and I come back here and commentate over them to give a play-by-play of my thought and process, and overall try to point out what I would do differently next time to try to improve my own skills. And there's a car going by. I am so sorry if you heard that. Now, anyways, I usually try to do these videos on Saturdays, and or at least a weekend minimum, but some stuff came up, yada yada yada. So it's a little late, but hey, better late than never, right? So if you want to, this is part 37, if I remember right. Jesus, we're close to 40. So if you want to see any more, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos. And overall, just let me know what you think of the battles. So my opponents start off with Zamazenta and Groudon. Now, I'm going to Shadow Ball right here. What I did actually earlier was I terrestrialized my Incineroar into Ghost. This way, I knew if like Groudon was trying to use like any ground moves, it wouldn't be super effective. So, the sun is set up, so fire moves are still on the table and they'll still be very powerful, especially from Groudon. So, let's see. So my opponent's gonna send out Milotech. Yeah, interesting. You don't really see Milotech a lot. I actually like Milotech. So let's see. I'm going to go for a Draco to try to knock out the Groudon quickly, basically. And my opponent's going to terrestrialize right here. It's gonna be fire. Okay, that makes sense. You usually go for fire for Groudon, probably to avoid getting hit by like water and grass. So my opponent's going to Dragon Pulse. I'm gonna go for the Draco Meteor, and alright, that knocks out. Thank goodness my Giratina did have a Calm Mind set up. So let's see, and my Incineroar's knockoff will go off. Almost knocks out, almost. They're wearing Shell Bell. Okay, cool. And my opponent's going to go with Zapdos next. So I'm pretty much in a good position. Really, none of their Pokemon hit were super effective. And I still have two more Pokemon left. So I'm in a pretty good position right here. If I remember right, I had Rillaboom. Okay, the battle's canceled. So, hey, we count those. So, if I remember right, my last two were Rillaboom and Rapid Strike Urshifu. So that should have easily took care of the Milotech if my Giratina didn't already. So my opponent's going to start off with Miraidon and Among Us. Now, this is actually a team different from the ones I've been using the last week. I switched out a few Pokemon and I put in Tornadus and my own Zamazenta for that little extra defense, and because I want to try using Tailwind, because like there are times my opponent sets up a Tailwind, so I'm like, okay, I'll just also set up a Tailwind. So I'm gonna terrestrialize my Tornadus. Now the reason I'm terrestrializing my Tornadus is because I'm using Steel on mine, because to avoid like because Steel is like the type to, since Tornadus is flying and all that, this way, if they try using ice, electric, or rock, it will resist ice and rock. So basically, it's just so it doesn't get hit super effective by Miraidon. So I'm hoping to like bounce it out. So unfortunately, though, I didn't want to lose my other two Pokemon because I knew they were going to be necessary. So unfortunately, Giratina had to get the brunt of that Draco. So, but I did manage to do what I wanted. I wanted to hit Taunt on the Among Us because I do not want to deal with that thing later. I hate getting hit by a Spore. So I'm just going to go for a Bleak Wind Storm. Let's see. And I'm going to go for a Fake Out on the Miraidon because basically there's no way, since the Among Us is now hit with the Taunt, you can't hit me with like Spore or anything, so I can just go off to try to knock it out. So the Storm will go off. Almost does. Almost. And the Miraidon is flinched, and they're going to go for a Clear Smog. Okay. Won't really do much. So I'm just going to go for it again, basically. I'm going to go for a Flare Blitz, try to do as much damage to the Miraidon as possible. I should have went for knockoff, honestly, though, right here. I guess it's just because I just wanted the more brute power to come from the Flare Blitz because I wanted to knock it out quickly because I did not want to deal with Miraidon. And they're gonna go out into Talonflame. So Storm will go off. This will get rid of Talonflame's Gale Wings. Thank goodness. I hate dealing with Gale Wings. I remember when Gale Wings before it got nerfed. This Pokemon was everywhere. And they're gonna knock out their own Talonflame. I wasn't expecting that. I never seen. This is like a more like physically like bulky built from because Miraidons are usually built to go really fast and hit hard. This one's like kind of bulky. Wasn't expecting that. It's kind of cool actually. So their next Pokemon's gonna be Annihilate. Oh man, I love Annihilate. And I love Annihilate. Again, Ghost is my favorite type, and I've always loved Primeape. I really like this Pokemon. Plus, it reminds me of Akuma from Street Fighter. Anyone else see it? So I'm gonna get hit with the Electro Drift. Luckily, that doesn't knock out. Thank goodness, Incineroar's bulky, and the Citrus Berry will kick in. Thank goodness I'm still running the Citrus Berry on mine. And Annihilate will knock out my Tornadus, but it did its job, so I'm actually really happy about that. So, I have Incineroar and one more Pokemon left. My Zamazenta. Now, good thing I saved Zamazenta for last because its bulk I knew was going to be the main deal breaker for this battle. So, I'm thinking I could just go for Body Press, try to knock out, and try to go for knockoff in the Annihilate. But I knew also if I don't get rid of the Annihilate soon, if I keep hitting it, its power will just keep going up. So they're gonna okay. So that's the move they're using. It will hit both my Pokemon, but more importantly, it's gonna hurt its Annihilate. So it'll bring down its HP, so it should be easier to knock out. So I'm gonna go for the Body Press, almost there. And you're gonna go for a Drain Punch. Will recover some HP, but Flare Blitz should take care of it. Alright, cool. I'm a little sad because how much I like Annihilate, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And unfortunately, I am gonna lose my Incineroar, so. But luckily, the electric terrain is gone, so its electric moves aren't nearly as strong. So I'm down to two Pokemon, so I'm just gonna go for a Body Press, try to knock out the Miraidon, because if I can get rid of the Miraidon first, there's no way the Among Us can do anything. Let's see. Yeah, because we all know Among Us is meant to be defensive, supporter Pokemon. It's not meant to be an all-out attacker. So if I can get rid of the Miraidon, even if they hit my Pokemon with Spore, I'll eventually wake up because there's no way it should be able to damage it, especially since it's Steel. Okay, so Zamazenta is going to be put to sleep, but it's their last Pokemon. So if I can try to wait out the clock and try to wake up in time, a Heavy Slam should easily take care of the Among Us. So they're going to go for Giga Drain. Okay, that does almost nothing. Alright, cool. And I'm assuming, okay, so I know they have this, Clear Smog, and Spore, and Rage Powder, so I don't gotta worry about anything else. And luckily, my Zamazenta wakes up just in time to get the Heavy Slam on and knocks out the Among Us. Alright, cool. This game was actually nerve-wracking. Zamazenta is definitely my favorite out of those two. Alright, cool. So that's game 2. Now we're on to game 3. Like I said, that last game was nerve-wracking. So my opponent's also going to start off with Tornadus, but also with their Calyrex. Man, Calyrex is everywhere. Okay, so I'm thinking I had a feeling they're going to want to go try to set the Tailwind just as ridiculously quickly, so instead, I'm going to play with their head a little bit. Normally, I would switch out my Giratina because I don't want to get hit with that Astral Barrage. But I'm going to Protect instead to make them think I'm not going to switch out my Giratina just yet. So I'm going to set up to Protect, don't have to worry. And they're going to set up their Tailwind. So the Astral Barrage will go off. And it doesn't hurt my Giratina, but it does almost knock out Tornadus. And the Storm will go off. And now that they're both damaged, here's the thing. I was thinking, okay, I can switch out my Giratina, go out into Incineroar because, it'll resist Ghost, and I'll go for my Tailwind because, Prankster, and because okay, so even better, I was thinking their Tornadus is probably just going to go for their own offensive move, so I should hit first. So the Tailwind will go off, but first I'm going to switch out to Kyogre. and that could be a problem, but it might not be. So Intimidate will go off. So I'm going to set up Tailwind. So now the speed will be matched up, but even better because my Tailwind went up second. That means my Tailwind will be up longer than my opponent's. So they're going to sadly knock out my Pokemon, but here's the thing. That's fine because what I'm going to do right here. Now they terrestrialized into Fairy, so instead I'm going to terrestrialize my Incineroar right now into Ghost. That way water won't be super effective. I'm going to fake out because now that Calyrex isn't a ghost, I can fake out it and then have my Zamazenta just knock it out with Heavy Slam. As long as it goes according to plan. So let's see. The only Pokemon though that could be difficult would be the Kyogre because I don't remember if I brought anything super effective against water. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna terrestrialize right here. Yeah, this way it'll remove any weaknesses to water. So Fake Out will go off. Flinch. It'll go Water Spout. Okay, even though I terrestrialized, it still was enough to knock out. Then again, it's the rain is out. Stab. I'm gonna go for the Heavy Slam, and it does knock out the Calyrex. All right, cool. Cool, because the Calyrex is like my biggest worry. So I have two Pokemon left, Zamazenta and Giratina. If I can set this up, I might have a chance basically still. So I had a strong feeling that my opponent's Pokemon was going to go set up the Water Spout again. So instead, I'm going to Calm Mind. I was really thinking I could go for the offense, but if I do it now, there's no guarantee it will knock it out. So, and if it doesn't, their Pokemon will easily just finish me off. So instead, I'm going to go for a Wide Guard because I knew they're going to go for Water Spout. My Giratina can live a hit, one hit from Incineroar, but double the hit, I don't think so. So that's why I Wide Guarded, and it did work out. And I'm going to be able to set up the Calm Mind. All right, cool. So now special attacks won't do nearly as much, but physical attacks will. Luckily, I do have investment in defense. And their Tailwind's gone too, so that's even better for me right now, so I can take advantage of the speed. So I'm going to have Zamazenta go for a Body Press on Incineroar. Let's see. They're going to protect. That's fine. I wasn't going after them anyways. Body Press will go off. Alright, and it knocks out the Incineroar. Sweet. And I did try to Draco, but luckily my special attack won't go down, so Tailwind is gone, but that's okay. So, and they have one Pokemon left, and it's their Tornadus. So, I'm thinking I could just go for a Shadow Ball, try to knock it out, and go for another Wide Guard just in case they try to hit with another like Water Spout. Because I was thinking there's no way my Zamazenta can live another hit, but if I can like wait this out, Water Spout won't really do much to my Giratina because it has the Calm Mind set up, and because the Dragon weakness, the Dragon resisting water. I got tongue tied. So Thunder will go off. I wasn't expecting that honestly, but that's fine because now Shadow Ball can just go in and knock out the Tornadus. So it's now 1v1 between legendaries. Okay, so I'm just gonna go for the Draco. Now my heart was pounding right here because I was because if you saw my last week's upload, one of my Dracos missed and it almost cost me the game. So luckily it didn't here. Luckily it didn't, but it doesn't knock out. But that's okay. Now Water Spout will do almost nothing. So this is based off HP, so it does nothing. Shadow Ball will come in and finish off Kyogre. All right. Hail to the distortion world. Alright, so I managed to get that barely, but thank goodness for Giratina's bulk combined with its dragon typing. So that's all three battles for this week. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Let me know what you think of those games. That third one was definitely my favorite. Let me know which one was yours, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great week. Take care. Bye.